Welcome back to Change Your Life. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare US coins, uncovering hidden treasures that could be worth a fortune. In this video, we reveal the top 3 most valuable, expensive, and ultra-rare coins that many people overlook. 1963 Jefferson Nickel, Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark. 1975 Jefferson Nickel, Denver Mint, D. 1999 Jefferson Nickel, Philadelphia Mint, P. These coins may look ordinary, but their shocking history tells a different story. Made from copper nickel, some rare examples develop a red to dark brown color shade, making them highly desirable to coin collectors and investors. Even in dirty or circulated condition, these coins can be worth thousands of dollars, and in extreme rare cases, even millions. So before you spend that old coin, stick around, because you might be holding a fortune in your hands. Backhand index pointing right first up. Coin number 1. Welcome back to Change Your Life, where ordinary objects turn into extraordinary opportunities. Today's story is not about gold bars or ancient treasures pulled from the ocean floor. It's about a small, humble coin that millions of people have touched, spent, ignored, or tossed into drawers without a second thought. The 1963 Jefferson Nickel, struck at the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark, looks simple, almost boring at first glance. But behind this everyday appearance lies a history, a mystery, and a value potential that has shocked collectors, investors, and even professional numismatists over the years. To understand why this coin matters, we must go back to its era. The year 1963 was a time of change, tension, and transformation in the United States. It was the final year before a major shift in American coinage metals, and the country itself stood on the edge of social and economic change. The Jefferson Nickel was already a familiar design by then, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the front and his home, Monticello, on the reverse. Most people saw it as pocket change, but collectors today see 1963 as one of those years where unexpected rarity can hide in plain sight. What makes the 1963 Philadelphia Jefferson Nickel so intriguing is not just its date or design, but the stories behind how some examples survived, how others changed color, and how a small number escaped normal circulation patterns. Although these nickels were made from a standard copper-nickel composition, certain coins developed a rare red to dark brown color tone over time. This was not intentional, and it was not common. Environmental exposure, storage conditions, and chemical reactions slowly transformed the surface of a few coins, creating appearances that stand out dramatically from normal gray nickels. Collectors are obsessed with originality, and this is where the story becomes intense. A naturally aged coin with deep, unusual toning tells a story that cannot be repeated or faked easily. When such toning appears on a well-preserved 1963 Jefferson Nickel, experts pay attention. These coins are examined closely, not only for color but for strike quality, surface condition, and microscopic details. Some examples show extraordinary detail in Jefferson's hair, cheek, and eye, along with crisp steps on Monticello. These details separate ordinary nickels from the ones that create excitement and fierce competition at auctions. Now let's talk about condition, because this is where people make mistakes. Many believe a coin must be shiny and clean to be valuable. That belief has destroyed fortunes. A dirty or darkened 1963 Jefferson Nickel can be far more valuable than a cleaned one. Cleaning removes history, damages surfaces, and permanently lowers collector interest. Some of the most valuable examples ever discovered were pulled from old rolls, drawers, or inherited collections in untouched condition. Dirt does not always mean damage. Sometimes, it means protection. Over the years, stories have surfaced of collectors purchasing small groups of nickels for almost nothing, only to discover later that one coin stood far above the rest. When a rare combination of condition, color, and strike quality appears, values can jump dramatically. In extreme cases, when bidding wars occur between elite collectors who want a specific coin for registry sets or private collections, prices can reach levels that shock the public. This is how ordinary coins cross into extraordinary value territory. The idea that a single nickel could be worth life-changing money may sound unbelievable, but coin history is filled with moments like this. Markets are driven by rarity, demand, and emotion. When a coin checks all 3 boxes, logic often disappears. A 1963 Jefferson Nickel with unique characteristics can become a symbol of prestige, not just metal. Ownership of such a coin represents knowledge, patience, and luck. That is why investors quietly search through rolls, estates, and old collections, hoping to find what others missed. The Philadelphia Mint plays an important role in this story. Coins struck there carry no mint mark, which makes identification less obvious to the untrained eye. This simplicity is part of the danger and the opportunity. People overlook these coins because they do not stand out. But within that simplicity lies the potential for discovery. The absence of a mint mark does not mean absence of value. In some cases, it means the opposite. As time passes, fewer untouched examples remain. Coins are lost, damaged, cleaned, or melted down. Every year that goes by reduces the supply of high-quality survivors. Meanwhile, interest in coin collecting continues to grow worldwide. New collectors enter the market every day, and experienced investors look for tangible assets that connect history with scarcity. This growing demand places pressure on the limited number of exceptional coins still available. Imagine holding a coin that once bought a cup of coffee, now capable of buying a house, a business, or freedom from financial stress. That transformation is what makes numismatics powerful. It's not just about money. It's about perspective. The 1963 Jefferson Nickel reminds us that value is not always obvious. Sometimes, the greatest opportunities sit quietly in our pockets, waiting for the right moment and the right eyes. If you believe you may have a 1963 Jefferson Nickel, the most important rule is simple: do not rush. Do not clean it. Do not spend it. Do not assume it is worthless. Examine it carefully under good light. Look at the color, the details, the overall feel of the coin. If something seems unusual, trust that instinct. Many life-changing discoveries began with curiosity, not certainty. History has proven again and again that overnight fortunes are rarely about luck alone. They are about preparation meeting opportunity. This coin represents that idea perfectly. Whether it turns out to be a modest collectible or an extraordinary rarity, knowledge protects you from loss and opens the door to possibility. So before you dismiss that old nickel as spare change, remember this story. Remember that the smallest objects can carry the biggest surprises. The 1963 Jefferson Nickel is not just a coin. It is a reminder that fortune sometimes whispers instead of shouting. And those who listen carefully are the ones whose lives change forever. Welcome back to Change Your Life, the place where history, mystery, and opportunity collide. Today's journey takes us deep into the story of a coin that almost everyone has seen, many have spent, and very few truly understand. The 1975 Jefferson Nickel from the Denver Mint, marked with a small but powerful D, appears ordinary at first glance. It feels light, familiar, and unremarkable. Yet behind its modest appearance lies a shocking history that has quietly turned simple pocket change into a symbol of hidden wealth and life-changing possibility. The mid-1970s were a complicated time in America. The nation was recovering from economic uncertainty, inflation was reshaping how people viewed money, and trust in financial systems was fragile. During this period, millions of Jefferson Nickels were produced, including the 1975 issue from Denver. These coins were never meant to be special. They were made to circulate, to be spent, lost, scratched, and forgotten. And that is exactly why some of them became extraordinary. When something is ignored by the masses, rarity often grows in silence. The 1975 D Jefferson Nickel carries the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, a symbol of vision, independence, and long-term thinking. On the reverse stands Monticello, calm and structured, hiding fine details that many never notice. But certain examples of this coin tell a very different story. Over time, a small number developed an unusual red to dark brown color shade, a transformation that was never planned and never common. This change was shaped by years of storage, environment, and chemistry, creating surfaces that feel almost alive with history. Collectors are drawn to what cannot be easily repeated. Natural toning, unusual coloration, and untouched surfaces create emotional value, not just monetary value. When a 1975 D Jefferson Nickel shows deep color, strong details, and a surface free from harsh cleaning, it immediately stands apart. Investors and advanced collectors understand that such coins represent a moment frozen in time. They are not just metal, they are survivors. And survivors are rare. One of the greatest myths in coin collecting is that value depends on beauty alone. In reality, authenticity matters more. Many valuable 1975 D nickels were not shiny or perfect when discovered. Some were dark, dirty, and overlooked. That dirt acted like a shield, protecting the surface beneath from damage. The moment someone cleans such a coin, the magic disappears. History is erased. Value collapses. That is why patience and restraint have made the difference between loss and fortune for many people. Stories circulate quietly in the collecting world of nickels purchased for almost nothing, only to later ignite bidding wars. When a coin with the right combination of rarity, condition, and originality appears, logic often leaves the room. Two collectors who both need the same coin will push prices far beyond expectations. This is how values climb into unimaginable territory. Not overnight by accident, but in a single moment of realization when the market agrees that something is truly special. The Denver Mint adds another layer to this story. Coins marked with a D traveled widely across the country, experiencing different climates and storage conditions. This wide journey increased the chance for unusual aging patterns and surface changes. While millions were produced, very few survived in a state that excites today's high-level collectors. Time has quietly reduced the supply, while demand has only grown stronger. What makes the idea of this coin so powerful is not just its potential price, but what it represents. It represents awareness. Somewhere, someone unknowingly spent a coin that could have changed their life. Somewhere else, someone paused, looked closer, and held onto it. That single decision created two very different futures. Coin history is filled with these moments, where knowledge separated regret from opportunity. In today's market, where people search for fast money and digital promises, physical history carries a unique strength. A rare coin cannot be copied with a click. It cannot vanish with a password. It exists, it survives, and it waits. That is why investors quietly turn toward numismatics during uncertain times. A 1975 Jefferson Nickel with rare characteristics is not just a collectible, it is a store of trust built on scarcity. Imagine discovering that something you once ignored now carries the power to reshape your life. That realization hits differently. It changes how you look at objects, history, and even yourself. The idea that a small coin could hold value measured in millions is not about fantasy. It is about understanding how rarity, desire, and time work together. Overnight fortune stories are rarely loud at the beginning. They start quietly, in drawers, jars, and forgotten collections. If you believe you have a 1975 D Jefferson Nickel, the most important step is restraint. Do not clean it. Do not rush to sell it cheaply. Do not assume it is common simply because it looks familiar. Study it. Respect it. Let experts evaluate it if something feels unusual. Many people who changed their financial future did so by slowing down, not speeding up. The history of coins teaches one powerful lesson again and again: value hides where attention is absent. The 1975 Jefferson Nickel from the Denver Mint stands as proof that even the smallest pieces of history can carry enormous potential. It reminds us that fortune does not always announce itself. Sometimes, it waits quietly, hoping someone will finally look closely enough. And before you spend that old nickel, remember this story. Because the difference between spare change and life-changing wealth is often just one moment of awareness. And that moment could be in your hands right now. Welcome back to Change Your Life, where small discoveries carry big consequences and history hides where no one thinks to look. Today's story revolves around a coin so familiar that people rarely pause to examine it, a coin that quietly moves from hand to hand while its true potential remains invisible. The 1999 Jefferson Nickel from the Philadelphia Mint, known by the absence of a mint mark, is often dismissed as modern spare change. Yet beneath its ordinary appearance lies a story that has drawn the attention of collectors and investors who understand that value does not always announce itself loudly. The year 1999 was a moment suspended between eras. The world was racing toward a new millennium, focused on technology, speed, and the future. Coins were treated as temporary tools, not historical artifacts. Jefferson nickels produced during this time were spent without thought, stacked without care, and forgotten almost instantly. That lack of attention is exactly what allowed certain examples to survive in unusual and untouched states. When everyone looks forward, history is created quietly behind them. The 1999 Jefferson nickel carries a design that had already lived through generations. Thomas Jefferson's portrait represents long vision and patience, while Monticello stands as a symbol of structure and permanence. On most coins, these details wear down quickly. But on a small number of 1999 Philadelphia examples, something unexpected happened. Over time, certain coins developed deep red to dark brown color shades, tones rarely associated with copper-nickel coinage from this era. These colors were not applied or forced. They formed slowly, shaped by storage conditions, air exposure, and time itself, creating a surface that tells a silent story. Collectors understand that rarity is not always about age. It is about survival. A coin that escapes cleaning, heavy damage, or careless handling preserves its original skin, and originality is where real interest begins. When unusual natural color combines with strong detail and untouched surfaces, attention shifts instantly. What was once ignored becomes studied, and what was once spent becomes protected. This transformation is not dramatic at first, but once noticed, it cannot be unseen. One of the most dangerous mistakes people make is believing that dirt equals damage. In coin history, dirt has often acted as armor. Many valuable coins were once dark, dull, and overlooked until careful examination revealed untouched surfaces beneath. Cleaning removes that protection and erases the very history collectors seek. That is why restraint has quietly created fortunes while impatience has destroyed them. The difference between loss and opportunity is often just one decision made too quickly. As years pass, the supply of well-preserved 1999 Jefferson nickels continues to shrink. Coins are lost, damaged, polished, or discarded. At the same time, interest in modern-era collectibles grows as collectors realize how few truly exceptional examples remain. Demand slowly builds, and when demand meets scarcity, value changes direction. This is how ordinary coins begin their journey toward extraordinary prices, not through hype, but through time. Stories within the collecting world often begin quietly. A coin pulled from a jar, a roll opened out of curiosity, a piece examined twice instead of once. These moments rarely feel important at the time. Yet history shows that life-changing discoveries rarely arrive with warning. They arrive disguised as something familiar. The idea that a small nickel could one day command attention measured in millions is not about fantasy, but about understanding how markets respond when rarity and desire finally collide. In an age where value feels digital and temporary, physical history carries a different weight. A coin exists whether anyone believes in it or not. It does not rely on trends or screens. It survives. That is why serious collectors and investors respect coins that tell honest stories. The 1999 Jefferson nickel, especially one with unusual natural color and preserved detail, represents that honesty. It stands as proof that even modern objects can age into importance when overlooked long enough. If you believe you may have a 1999 Jefferson nickel, the most important step is patience. Do not clean it. Do not rush to sell it cheaply. Do not assume its worth by appearance alone. Look closely. Feel its weight, study its surface, respect its history. Many fortunes were not created by finding something rare, but by recognizing rarity before everyone else did. This coin is a reminder that sometimes the power to change your future sits quietly in your hand, waiting for the moment you finally choose to look.